Hello, and thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Storytime. Today's story is called The Kindness of Strangers, and it's from my collection, Traveling Left of Center and Other Stories. The Kindness of Strangers. I have always relied on the kindness of strangers. Mona remembered that line from a Tennessee Williams play. A streetcar named Desire, she recalled. She had caught it once on television, although the picture was so fuzzy and indistinct that she couldn't really see the faces of the actors. But the words were clear and moving and very, very sad. They gave her an extra dose of her medicine that night so she would stop crying and fall asleep. And after that, they monitored her television viewing more closely. Not that she watched television all that often. The set was old, and its performance erratic. Donated to the hospital common room by the grateful family of now deceased patients, the failing picture screen usually broke up into wavy lines, giving the impression that you were viewing the show through a rough and choppy sea. But at least the sound was adequate, and that was all that mattered. Mona figured she could always imagine how the characters looked. Their hair, their eyes, the expressions on their faces. She had a good imagination. But in spite of what they said, and who were they, even now, Mona didn't know. She could distinguish fact from fiction, or reality from fantasy. Take the food, for example. The strange tasting coffee, the sugar hiding the bitterness under the sweet. Someone, Kate perhaps, said there was nothing wrong with the food. It was all part of the sickness, Kate said. It was the sickness that made Mona believe things that weren't true, terrible things, hurtful things. It was the sickness that made Mona accuse Kate of doing those horrible things. Mona knew better. She knew there was something bad in the food that Kate was serving her. But Kate, and who was Kate anyway? One, and the doctors put Mona in this place to treat her for depression or delusion or some other D word that was their explanation of the truth. That's when Mona knew that Kate was nothing to her. No relative, but a stranger, and not even a kind one at that. No one with an ounce of kindness would have put an old woman all alone in a place like this. But, Mona told herself in the months that followed, she wouldn't be in here forever. She had a friend on the outside. Was that a line from a Jimmy Cagney movie? Never mind, it didn't matter. This friend would get her out of this place. By herself, Mona would never get free, but with the help of the stranger who was her friend, she just might escape. Her friend would come to visit Mona at odd times of the day, and they would make plans for Mona's flight to freedom. One of the plans, later abandoned because it was too difficult to get explosives, involved blowing up the main entrance where the closed-circuit monitors were stationed. Mona liked that plan, simply because she resented being watched every minute of every day and night. There was a thing called privacy, after all. They had other plans as well. Mona's friend was a veritable storehouse of ideas. She, like Mona, had an excellent imagination. But so far they hadn't settled on which strategy to use, which wasn't helped by the fact that Mona's friend, what was her name anyway, could only meet with her when no one was around. When the coast is clear, she would wisecrack. And it seemed like someone was always nearby, giving medicine, adjusting bed covers, checking locks. Once, as they were planning and plotting, they were almost caught, but the jingle of the keys gave away the nurse's arrival, and Mona's friend disappeared before the door opened. When it wasn't the nurses with their endless pills and potions, it was the doctors, hemming and hawing as they pried open her eyes and looked down her throat and touched her breast to listen to your heart, they always said. And then there was Kate, mysterious Kate, ubiquitous Kate. She would come to see Mona under the pretense of caring how she was. Mona never knew when to expect her. If she did, she would do her best to hide, slide under the bed where the dust balls tickled her nose, or lie in the cold porcelain tub with a mildewed shower curtain drawn around her. Mona had told her several times that she wanted to be left alone, that she didn't want or need to see her, to just stop coming. And then Kate would pretend to cry, and the nurses would shake their head at Mona's cruelty. And later, when they gave her the nightly shot, the needle would go in with an extra hard push, and the injection site would be black and blue in the morning. So that is an excerpt from my story, The Kindness of Strangers. I don't know why, but I tend to write stories about people who are perhaps a few steps over the normal, mentally healthy line. In this case, I don't really delve into what is wrong with this woman, why Mona is the way she is. But it is more looking at reality through Mona's eyes, what she perceives, what she believes, how she's trying to navigate in this place where they have put her. And, what are her coping mechanisms? Obviously, the ones she has chosen are not exactly the healthiest ones for her. But it is about me trying to tell Mona's story, but not from the outside, to get into Mona's head and go with her during the day, go with her during the night, see what happens, see how she handles it. So, like I said, it's just one of those stories. I've written other stories like this about people who are subject to whims that have gotten perhaps too powerful to control. Beautiful Dreamer is one of them. In that particular story, the woman has a dream, and she's not entirely sure if that dream and the subsequent ones are real or not. But in this particular case, it's quite clear to an outside observer that Mona has a problem, but in an odd kind of way. She's determined not to be a victim. She's determined to be a survivor. And if the methods she has chosen to survive are perhaps not the best, they are the only ones that she has at her disposal because of her condition. So anyways, I hope that you are intrigued enough by that little taste of The Kindness of Strangers to want to pick up the copy of Traveling Left of Center and Other Stories and read the entire story, read the other pieces that are in the book, and let me know what you think. And in the meantime, I look forward to the next time we get together and I can share one of the stories in one of my collections. Thank you so much.